Radio Scotland is 40 years old today. As our Home Affairs correspondent Reevel Alderson reports, it was born in 1978 in anticipation of devolution.
The work is on schedule to be finished in April of next year, at a cost of £3.75 million.
As today, the news 40 years ago was dominated by politics, then the building which never became the Scottish Assembly.
It's 7 o'clock on Monday, the 1st of December. This is Good Morning Scotland with Neville Garden and Malcolm Wilson.
It was in anticipation of devolution that Radio Scotland was born in 1978, and news programmes were based in Edinburgh.
It costs £34 million each year to run the education service in the Highlands. The figure is high.
This was an early and bizarre experiment in breakfast TV, which allowed viewers to see what went on at the radio station. Early presenters included entertainment favourites like Jimmy McGregor and Andy Cameron, back today at the BBC for a radio party to celebrate the 40th birthday.
We would avoid famous people because they just talk about themselves all the time. We're trying to get so-called ordinary people, but interesting ordinary people, and it's amazing, there's millions of them.
I remember a wee girl coming on, she would be about 3, and she said, what did the lady do when she found a trumpet in her garden? I said, I don't know. She said she rooted to toot. And I thought, that was really good with kids like that.
Radio Scotland has sometimes hit the headlines for the wrong reasons. 2 senior managers, late in the evening, tried to persuade a young, inexperienced announcer to broadcast that the Queen was dead.
We realised it was a training exercise, and quite honestly, the chances of me ever going on air and blurting out that the Queen had died were absolutely zero. But by the following morning, it was all over the papers, and I went overnight from being the most useless announcer in Radio Scotland to being unsackable.
Things have changed since I started working in Radio Scotland 38 years ago in 1980. Nowadays, we edit digitally on our computers, looking at the waveforms. But in those days, we used 1/4-inch tape and we used a razor blade to splice. There were no health and safety concerns then. The new Radio Scotland was greeted grudgingly by some, even by a columnist in the Radio Times, complaining about the mixing of music and speech. But over 4 decades, the station has tried to get the voices of the people of Scotland onto the air and to offer them a window on the world at the same time. Reevel Alderson, reporting Scotland, Pacific Quay.